Hey. Good morning. Let's turn this down. Good morning to you all. Hey, it's Jimmy here, Astute Tourist. Welcome to another morning live stream with Molly and me. I got my cup of coffee. I have my dog right here at my feet. She's down here. And if you don't believe me, come here. There she is right there. There's little brown Molly. She's with us for our morning live stream. It is Tuesday, May 10th. It is what time is it? It's 6:20 a.m. Bright and early on a Tuesday morning. We get a lot going on today. Tuesdays are my day in the field, so after the stream here, we'll get ready to head out to work. And I got a big day ahead of me, but and it's going to be warm. It's cold out right now, but they're saying it's going to be in the 60s today, and the weather is supposed to increasingly get warmer as the week rolls in. They're talking by Saturday, high 80s to low to mid 80 degrees, which is crazy weather for this time of year. But yeah, the weather is nuts. But what are you going to do? I'll take it. I've had enough of the cold weather. I think we've all got a little bit of cabin fever because of this, at least here in the Northeast, this drawn out winter. It just won't seem to shake itself. Although we do have all the trees are budding, the leaves are coming out, the plants are popping up through the ground. I noticed the last couple of days, the more I look at it, I have the hosta plants out along the walkway in the front of the house, and they are growing very quickly. They literally seem to be getting bigger overnight, which they are. That's good to see. The birds are chirping. The sun is out. In terms of the heat and fire danger, it's been really dry here in the Northeast. We had what they call a high-class fire danger yesterday. We had a brush fire. There were brush fires all around us, and I expect more of the same today. So it's going to get busy. Going to get real busy, but that's what we do, right? And hopefully we can get a handle on things really quick and take good care of what we need to do. So it is Tuesday morning. Like I said, I got my cup of coffee right here, hanging with the Astute Tourist. I got my my Astute coffee cup. We haven't been walking. I was up late last night. I had a late night meeting and just not feeling it this morning. I'm a little bit of, I feel groggy. I don't feel like I'm firing on all cylinders. Do you guys get like that? Good morning, crazy cat woman. Hi, Terry. How are you? Thank you for coming in. You're eating salad for breakfast. Right on. Salad's good for breakfast. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. Breakfast is breakfast, and breakfast is good. I'm glad you could join us this morning. Molly and I are just doing our thing, having coffee. I was saying that we haven't been doing much walking, and I was going to get up and go walking today, but I was up late. I had an unexpected meeting with the select board last night with the town I work in, and we were up late. It's a lot of budget woes. Good morning. Hi, Sean. How are you? I should say good afternoon to you, sir. Thank you for stopping by. We are in here having a cup of coffee. Like I said, we got our Astute coffee cup, and Molly's in here too. Come here. Come here. See if you can see her. Here's Molly right here. Come here. I got the banner in the way, but trust me, there she is. Trust me, Molly's here with us. She's wondering why I haven't been taking her for a walk over the last couple of weeks. The weather's been really cold here, but it's increasingly getting warm. We're supposed to be into probably 70s to 80 degrees Fahrenheit by the weekend. How's everything down under? Things good down your way? I'm sure you guys have warm weather all the time. I know we talked about it before. Yeah, her bone was good. In fact, she got another one over the weekend. Colleen had gone to the market and um, uh, bought her another bone, so she enjoyed that. I like my coffee black. Um, I've been drinking it black for many years now. Working in the fire station at the firehouse, especially at fire scenes. After you get done working, it's nice to have a cup of coffee, and there's not always cream and sugar. So I've learned to drink it to black with no sugar, and I do enjoy it that way. How do you like yours? I got we use a Keurig machine, so we use coffee pods typically here at home, unless we're making a full pot. We do have a it's the type of K cup machine that has the carafe in it as well, so you can do both. Typically on a work day, we'll use the pods. Um, Although I go through about 4 of them in the morning, so I do drink a lot. And um, so Terry says she likes cream and sugar in hers. Sean, oh, you did? No kidding. Well, look at that. We have something in common. Now, did you do, was it like wildland fire stuff, like forest fires, brush fires? Or did you do interior building firefighting? I clearly do both. We did have what we call a brush fire yesterday. It wasn't too big, but it is the season with all the fuel on the ground from the winter time. A lot of leaves and sticks and things come down over the winter, and it's been dry here in the Northeast. Even though we had all that rain last week, the low humidity here, the groundwater seems to take right off and go up into the atmosphere. So the ground has dried out, and we've had a rash of brush fires in the area. My fire department had one yesterday. We also had a building fire last night, so I'm not firing on all cylinders, and I had a late night meeting, so I'm a little tired. I still have to go to work today, which is fine. You usually like a latte, which you make at home, and at work we have an espresso. Oh, very nice. Yeah, I saw those. I'd like to do that. So you did urban firefighting. Yep. Very good. That's awesome. Like I said, we have something in common. I've been firefighting since I was 18, right out of high school. I was going to be a welder. I was going to school, went to technical college after high school, excuse me, to become a welder. And I got on the local volunteer fire department in the town that I lived in, and I fell in love with that type of work. I went to the fire academy. I got certified, and then, well, 40 years later, here I am. I'm still doing it. So I started as what we call a volley, and now I am a deputy fire chief. So I've worked my way up the ranks, and enjoyed every minute of it. I love what I do. I love helping people, and it's a very rewarding career. Yeah, so fires can start in many different ways. Obviously, people will light them. There's arson. We have a number of arson fires throughout the state every year. They're not rare, but there's not a large number of them. Fires can start any different way. Accidental is usually the biggest cause. I'll give you an example. Yesterday, we had a pressure washer company got hired by a local resident, and they were pressure washing the house. For some reason, they pressure washed the outside electrical outlet, and they caused a short in the wiring, and they had an issue there. So that's one way that fires can start. Like I said, accidental is typically the biggest reason why. That would be in building fires. People putting heaters too close to blankets or too close to the pile of newspapers that they're saving. Outside fires can start naturally, believe it or not. The degradation of biodegradable material can create heat, and that can cause fires in the woods. Sunlight passing through a dewdrop, believe it or not, gives it that magnification type effect and can start a fire. Of course, people that don't extinguish campfires, or they don't dispose of cigarettes and other type of burning or hot material, can start fires outside. Um, we get a lot of, in the town that I work in, we have a major interstate that goes through the town, and we have some major highways, and a lot of people will throw their lit cigarette out the window, and that causes havoc. We get a lot of those brush type fires. Um, uh, they are, especially out in western part of the United States. I don't know what it's like in Australia. I know you guys had some massive fires last year, and I think the year before. Um, we get those kind of fires here in the United States, but they're mostly in the West Coast. I'm on the East Coast. I'm near Boston, but out in California and Oregon, Washington State, Arizona, Nevada, they get some large fires. The large type of fires like you do get in Australia, and they can be deliberately set. There are people that are just for whatever reason, they feel the need that they have to go out and light fires. So, not quite sure why people would do that, but they do. So in terms of rescue, so in terms of rescuing people, like physically rescuing them, we get a few of those every year. We have a lot of hiking trails and things. We may have to go out and help them. They've fallen, they've twisted an ankle, of course, some medical reasons. They may have a cardiac issue. And then we have several bodies of water. So we have boats in that where we may have to help some people. We get one or two in the water every year, maybe in a 12-month period. As far as the people out on the trails in that, maybe half a dozen. Now, in terms of medical calls, EMS calls, emergency medical service calls, that's a daily occurrence for us. We may do 12, 13, 14 EMS calls in a day. We have 2 ambulances what we call transport ambulances. So we go and we lend medical aid and then transport those folks to the hospital. My fire department is a town that's about 16,000 plus people. We have a major interstate running through the town. You get a lot of car accidents. We probably do over 2,000 calls a year, which is a lot. That's a lot of calls. It's almost a call a day. Some departments around us, some of the bigger cities, they do 5, 6, 12,000 calls in a year. But those are the bigger cities in the state. And the town I work in is not that big. That's true, Terry. Lightning can cause them as well. That's part of that environmental factor. And they get a lot of those out west where the lightning does strike, the natural vegetation. We do. So I was just talking about the interstates, and we have what you would know as the jaws of life. Those are extrication tools, and that can be interesting. Cars crumple up. When I first started in the business, cars were built a lot different, and they were I guess a lot stronger in a way. They weren't built to take a hit. So if you would look at like a race car, and those cars are meant to crumple up around the driver, and they're protected in the driver's compartment, and that helps with inertia. and it helps keep that energy away from the person inside. The old cars weren't built like that. People would bounce around inside. Of course, there weren't a lot of safety belts and seat belts and things either. So the cars are made to crush up, but then that presents us with a bigger effort to try to remove the car around the victim. So that can be interesting, and there's a lot of training that we do in order to deal with that kind of stuff. So here the fire department are first responders to accidents or cardiac arrests to back up the ambulance service. And we do the same, although my department has our own ambulance service. So we don't have private ambulance. We have our own ambulance. So how most of the fire departments work here in this part of the country is we work for the municipality. We work for the taxpayers. And our ambulance is run by the firefighters. We're all EMTs from the basic level all the way up to paramedic. My department has a large complement of paramedics and what they call EMTAs, the advanced, where they are trained to start IV therapy like cardiac meds via, intravenously. We're ALS, what they call advanced life support. So we are an ALS service. The draws are used by the fire department, but there is also a volunteer unit here called the State Emergency Services, and they do most of the extrication. But that's interesting. I would love to come and visit sometime and see how they operate. I'm always interested in how other folks do it and manage their incidents. I don't think there's any one right way to do anything, and it's fun for me, I guess, for lack of a better term, to be able to visit other fire departments and see how other people do it. We look at some of the European fire companies, and their trucks look different. Their turnout gear or their fire garments are a little bit different. Their helmets are a little different. And sometimes that actually can be better technology that they have than what we use. But here in the United States, tradition gets in the way sometimes of technology. The types of helmets that we wear, which are safe, but the style of helmet is the traditional style of helmet. Like if you've seen pictures of Benjamin Franklin from the 18th century, he was one of the first volunteer firefighters in the country, and they wear that leather type of helmet. I wear one as well. So it's good to see how others do it. Oh, I would love to. This year is going to be tough for us traveling. We have a busy year, but I hope to maybe by the winter start moving around a little bit more and traveling. Look at you! Invented by George Hurst in 1961 after he witnessed a rescue team take over an hour to remove a car drivers from the wrecked vehicles. Yeah, Hurst tools were the first ones that we used, the Hurst brand. That's pretty good there, Terry. Good for you. We have a rule when we're trying to remove people. They call it the golden hour. We want to try to remove them in less than an hour, because obviously the more time a victim is stuck in there, it decreases in their chance of survivability. So the quicker that we can get them out, the better that it is for them and their survivability rate. So, Jaws of Life inventor at the Astute Tourist, right? I love it. I love that. Good morning, Paul Vines. How are you, sir? Thank you for coming in. We're talking actually about fire departments and car accidents and rescuing people, and all about what I do for work. Now they're just called cutters, but Jaws of Life is still a term that is popular. Yeah, it is. We call them extrication tools. Jaws of life is usually the term that most of the public are familiar with. And there's many types of extrication tools. Of course, there's the jaws themselves, and they can spread open pieces of metal. They can also crush them. We have other types of cutters that are scissor cutters, and they cut steel. We have combination tools that are the jaws, and down inside are the cutters, so you can cut this way. There's also spreaders that will spread things away from each other. We use them. Usually, a dashboard could be rolled down on top of the driver and the occupant, and we use those spreaders to push that dashboard away from the victim. So, yep, they just call them jaws. That's correct. A lot of people say, "Hey, go grab the jaws." Yep. So your focus now is on first aid. So do you? Let's see. I can't get that to come up for some reason. There it is. Are you an EMT? Are you a first aider, like basic first aid course? Here we call them emergency medical technicians. That's what I am. I'm at a basic level. Being in a command position, there's really no reason for me to be in the ALS side of it, because I have all those very well-trained and talented people that work under me that do that kind of work. So you're getting ready to go unload. Excellent. Oh, so you teach first aid. Very good. I salute you, sir. Very good. I love that. I think that's a great thing. Now, do you do CPR as well, or do you just do the first aid side of it? So, treating wounds and trauma and treating for shock, those kinds of things, dressing broken bones, splinting, and that, or do you do CPR as well? Here we have to be trained in, well, in my job, we have to be trained in all of that, of course. Right. Yep. Yeah. So, and it's different here as well. So first aid for us is, like I just said, treating of trauma, wounds, control bleeding, splinting, treating for shock, hyperthermia, hypothermia, that kind of stuff. And then the ALS stuff is the where they can give cardiac drugs, and they can push all kinds of other medications, pain medications, things like that. Oh, okay. And it is here too. There's two types of first aid that we teach here. The first one is the layman, and that's what we usually teach folks out in the public. That's where if they have access to an AED, which is an automatic external defibrillator, those machines are great because they basically instruct you and tell you how to do it. They almost operate themselves. And that includes the folks doing CPR, which is chest compressions and rescue breathing. And in my job, we do the same thing, but there's some other technical types of things that we do with the defibrillators. And they can use the paddles, that kind of stuff. It's pretty interesting. Someday, if I can, I would love to make a video of the fire department and what I do. They're a little sensitive with making videos and that stuff, but if I can do it right, maybe I can make one and show you guys, so you can actually see where I work and exactly what I do. I wear a white shirt now and a gold badge, and I drive around in my own red car. I don't drive in the fire engines often anymore. My body has been beat up. I've had several surgeries on shoulders and knees as a result of the job, 40 years of being a firefighter. So there came a point where I had to go from an actual physical working role or doing the physical job of crawling around in a burning building and doing that real heavy duty work to where I am more in a command role now. So not to say that I don't drive the trucks or that I don't go into the buildings, but I'm more of a director, let's say, on the scene. I'm also the fire prevention chief. So I go to all the schools and I go to commercial occupancies and I inspect them for any violations to the state fire code, which is law. I teach the kids during fire prevention week. We do open houses and things like that. It's a lot of fun. It's a good time. I like my job a lot. I'm very pleased to be able to be involved in this career for so many years. EMT training became a standard after. Hey, look who's here. Look who's here. It's Molly. She's a little upset because we're not walking. Became a standard after California tested their EMT form of life-saving, and now EMTs are everywhere. So there was a TV show in the 70s here out of LA County called Emergency. And those two gentlemen in the TV show became paramedics. It was a new program in LA County and a new program, first of its kind throughout this country. And even though it was a TV show, it was all based on real stuff. They really did that. That program started out there, and that's where this whole EMT stuff became. Before that, it was just doing first aid stuff, and it became more technical. So yeah, Terry, you are right. And if you ever go back and watch those old 1970 shows, they used Hearst tools. They use all the right equipment, the right terminology. It's more correct than some of the newer shows that you see, like Chicago Fire and those. Those are more dramatized. But if you look at Emergency, a lot of the tools and equipment and the techniques they used are real. Yeah, hello, Paul. Hello, down under. We got some hearts. Hi, V. Good morning. How are you, my friend? Thank you for stopping in. Let's see. Paul's saying hi. So you teach CPR with a standard AED and first aid, advanced rescue where you can administer oxygen, and pain management is a special course where we can deliver some drugs that are not registered drugs. Would that be like aspirin and that type of stuff? What type of pain meds are you doing that are not registered? So when I talk about EMTAs and paramedics, they can do all the registered drugs, or not all of them, but a lot of them. Opiate-based drugs and things like that for pain management. I can, as a basic, believe it or not, I can give people aspirin, and it's actually for cardiac patients. But I also can give Tylenol and that for people for pain management. You did, I love that show too. That was all based on real stuff, and you're correct. They did have real firefighters that rode with them and made sure that they were doing everything correctly. Is V stalking you? She might be. She may be. Oh, I see. I missed one. So you aren't rude at all, Sean. I wouldn't say that either. So V's saying hi to Crazy Catwoman. So there you go. It's tit for tat. She's saying you're following her around. Paul says hi, V. You call them aspirin, Ventolin, and epinephrine can be administered by the average first aider, right? So I can do epi. I can't do Ventolin, believe it or not, as a basic EMT. But I can do aspirin and epinephrine. Usually the epi that I use, or for me, the reason I would administer it as a basic EMT would be for like an anaphylactic shock. So that would be like somebody allergic to a bee sting or a snake bite, that kind of thing. But they also use epi for as a cardiac drug, and I can't use it or administer it in that fashion, only for people with anaphylactic shock or an allergic reaction. So, be saying hi to Paul. Tylenol, Penthrax, and other pain management. I need a license to carry. Okay. Yeah, and that's a big deal. Of course, you know, these drugs, a lot of these drugs can be abused. We use a lot of opiate type drugs. We do use fentanyl and morphine and several other types of drugs. They are heavily managed, heavily kept under guard, lock and key. Everything is chain of custody, which is important again. Those are the drugs that can be abused, so that we need to make sure that the security is high and tight on those. So Terry says she loves talking about Emergency, the show. You studied the show through the show and web pages. Yeah, I was a big fan as a little boy. I think a lot of us were. We used to pretend that I had a tackle box, a fishing tackle box that I put a bunch of Band-Aids and different types of stuff in as a little kid, and we would pretend that we were Roy and Johnny and running around and helping people. And it's kind of weird that I ended up in a job like I'm in, because I never really thought about doing it as a profession until I got out of high school and got on a volunteer fire department. And that's when I actually fell in love with it. So it is an incredibly rewarding job. I can't think of doing anything else. In 2005, I had separated my service from the fire department for a couple of years, and I was miserable. I went into the building trades, and which was a lot of fun, and I made a lot of money. It just wasn't for me, and it wasn't that rewarding. So I came back to the fire service, and here I am all these years later, and I'm still doing it. So I started in 1983. In 2005, I took a 2-year hiatus from it. Came back in 07, 08, and started all over again. I left as a lieutenant, as an officer, and I came back and I had to start all over again. I was just a firefighter, what they call a private, and I worked my way back up the ranks again from lieutenant to captain, and then 2 years ago, I applied for the position of deputy chief in the town I'm in now. It was neighboring to the town that I worked in, and here I am. I am a supervisor now, or a commander, I guess. A lot of administrative work. Like I said last night, I was in a meeting with the select board, and those can be real fun. Let me tell you, some of them are real snoozes, but somebody has to do the administration, so we do our job. Yeah, Chicago Hope and those others, they're more dramatic. I mean, they're good shows, and I mean, you know, they are based out of Chicago. I have a friend of mine who's a retired captain out of Chicago, and that show is based out of the firehouse he worked in. But you know, they try to stick to some of the real stuff, but again, it's all a lot of drama to keep people involved in the show. You had Rescue 51 for our ambulance service. That's pretty cool. There was a town actually in Boston. They have an engine 51 and a ladder 51, I think. But thank you, V. Thank you. We're very humble people. I know I can speak for Sean. It's what we do. It's just like providing a service where a police officer or somebody that works in a bank or whatever it is that you do for work. It's all very important work. And we need bakers and butchers, and we all count on each other. It takes a village, as they say. So it's just the job that I do. Somebody has to do it, and it's not for everyone. We deal with things that people don't typically even fathom doing or witnessing in their life. So I'm on the downward side of my career. I can actually see the light at the end of the tunnel. I got a couple more years left, but it'll be time to hang up the helmet in a few years. So let's see. You love to watch shows there called Ambulance or What's Your Emergency? They ride with active ambulance crews. Oh, that's pretty cool. We had a show here where they rode around with the police. I'd like to see one where if riding around with ambulance crews and that. Thank you for that, Terry. Don't listen to Fee. She's just trying to suck up to us. Right. We love you, V. Of course we do. My salute to all of you. I appreciate you coming in. You know what time it is? It's time I need to go. What time is it? It's 6:56. I am well past the time. I did want to share this. This came in the mail yesterday. It's my Astute swag. I would be remiss if I didn't do a shameless plug for our swag. We'll see you later. That's our tagline. It's available at teespring.com, the Astute Tourist store. But I guess that's going to do it for me. I love you guys. I hope you know how much I love you. I appreciate you all coming in. Be kind to everybody, and I know you are. There's nothing but kind people that come into here. Sean, you only wish, but you need a good pinching. Thank you, my friend. Oh, Terry, you got my tagline, right? PMA saves the day. She knows my ending well. Positive mental attitude. It helps keep me going, especially in the job that I'm in, because like I said, we do deal with things that most people don't see or experience. And sometimes you got to just remain positive. It's definitely helped me through my life and through my career. And positivity helps bring positivity into your life. It keeps all them negative vibes out. Don't forget your flag, no matter where you are. I'm very proud of our flag here, the red, white, and blue. And down under, you guys have a great flag, and you should be proud of that because it represents so much more than just the cloth that it's made out of. So be proud of that. Be proud of your country. Be proud of your veterans. And let's salute those that have come before us and the veterans that we have that are in harm's way right now. I salute all of you. I want you all to have a great day. Please be safe. And who knows, we may be walking tomorrow or we may be sitting here in the house doing another one. But we'll be back tomorrow morning at 6:20 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Again, I want to thank you all. I appreciate you and I love you all. So with that said, I'm Jimmy. And we'll see you later.